take the Kalista matchup, there's no real big counter into. Now, I mean, I guess you could take the Varus and things like that, but the Ashe itself, really big. Maybe they don't even want to go that direction.
Yeah, it would be interesting. We have seen TheSnake obviously lean a lot heavier on Varus than anything else. It's his most played champion so far at 9. And now where EDG want to follow, actually. So, looks like they're thinking of trying to deny what could be the Kalista Renata from Ultra Prime.
Looks like the case here. Pretty good bottom duo between the Sentinel and Empire there. Now leaning to those strengths early in the first phase, you wonder what that third pick is going to be, because they already see what the top lane matchup can bring, so you're not necessarily saving that counter pick there. The Kalista has been left on the table on a silver platter, as if it was maybe a trap.
I mean, they do have the engage options that they can pair with these support right things like the Rakana Nautilus, both being open. Sure, the lane might be a little bit spicier having to look for those all-ins to find the kills, but actually Nico coming out for Yuekai. I said, like, he really hasn't been touching this pick so far. This is his first time playing it in the split.
That's really big to say as well. You know, just trying to get a little bit more centered setup around the team fights for Yuekai. Maybe a little bit more action than the Annie brought in game number 2. I'm a little upset at you. Cassante is locked in anyways for EDG. We'll see him for a third time.
Call it, Mazel. Call it. Tell us the winner right now.
Is it just Ultra Prime?
I
Because
mean,
they didn't grab Cassante?
Yeah, I mean, no, they did what you didn't want, so therefore you should already blame them the losers. But no, we move into the second half. I like the takeaway of the Rel. You already pointed out Yuekai could be a staple in these team fights with that ultimate, so denying the Rel synergy to set that up is going to be pretty big. And, right, we've so far just had a lot of trades going through things like the Xin Zhao, the Lee Sin, being big. Diego, of course, we had him in that last game. I don't know if either draft the Spar really setting up for him.
Just in case. Just in case.
Yeah, and that one's even more interesting, right? Because it's signaling that EDG thinks the possibility that the Nico ends up somewhere else.
Kind of funny the way the brains think about this last game in the battle for the wooden spoon. The Diego, a rightful ban towards Monki, absolutely earned. The thing that's still on the table though, Graves.
Yeah, and that's why I think here you go to Karma, it still leaves your jungle pick wide open in that second phase, whether it's something like the Graves, then just going back to the Xin Zhao, if that doesn't get taken off the table, a lot of options. And then either now for Ultra Prime, I would kind of like if they took that one away themselves and leaned on the Xin Zhao, having some early aggression there, and then a lot of range you could deny with that Crescent Dart. 2-6.
Dude, Doggo just doesn't want to walk away from the moment. He's like, I will live in this in perpetual state of want. As Xin Zhao is the end up lock-in for Ultra Prime.
Ooh, and it looks like they actually EDG might have been right. Well, it's looking like we're gonna get this Nico potentially down to the bot lane. Play hovered right now would at least give them, some semblance of faith in mid. And yeah, they're gonna lock it in. So
it has to be an insta Graves.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there we go. You wanted a bit more spice. We're getting it with the Nico coming out for Jwei. It's going to be huge, right? Going to be able to throw him in once that ult's online and maybe set up for some huge combos. If you get them locked down with the Nico, then Jwei's throwing out all his AoE damage while Decade Hacker getting on the back line. At the same time, though, the front to back from EDG is quite hard to bypass. You have Karma speeding everyone up with the shields. You have the ultimate that's going to be able to come out from Vampire. Allah, who's going to be able to soak up all the damage if he manages to find an impact on the Cassante, which we haven't seen so far in the series. But point is, I feel like EDG do have a lot of good tools to deal with what Ultra Prime are bringing to the table, but clearly Ultra Prime just want to throw some hands.
Yeah. I think in aggression, Ultra Prime are lacking into the composition from EDG, but in healing and things like that, I think they can actually have a really big fight. The hardest thing is you're literally going against Renata Karma. Like the fights are going to be so hard. And there was a caveat I wanted to add to the Cassante point earlier. We actually got to see Decade start turning things around as the Cassante later on in team fights. The entrances are so important. So maybe Allah with another chance at it after that game 1 failing can make it happen.
Yeah, they're gonna try. I mean, right? Even though there's no stakes in terms of playoffs, both these teams being out, being able to end the split with some pride, being able to find this win, and even just try new things out, like we're seeing with the Nico. I think it's a good way to use this last game.
I think as we get into it, we'll hear the Gyos in Shanghai one more time, but a game 3 that was expected between two chaotic teams. 0909's first game of the split, first series of the split for EDG as they make changes continuously. Ultra Prime looking to put some pride on the line here with their composition. Let's see what game 3 has in store.
EDG already going for an early invade, maybe hoping to split bot and enable their bot lane duo to not get punished by this Nico.
Level 1 does go pretty hard for EDG. They're just looking for every in that they can get here. So last game they set up Monki very nicely early on. He's on another comfort champion of his. See if he can actually do it this time.
I like what Ultra Prime did, right? They safely walked back through the lane to regroup as a unit so they can try and contest and make sure that EDG aren't taking away any of their camps. Oh god, Hacker. Okay, so it's just going to end up starting on Raptors. So it looks like EDG should be able to steal this red.
Hacker going to get traded for. Okay, well, apparently Ultra Prime, they were loving what you were saying in the whole let's just fight. Oh my god, Monki is getting chunked here. Yuekai coming around the corner. Ultra Prime want this. Oh, he can't get the combination on the right direction. And EDG, they'll move back in to try to get the red buff.
I mean, now that they're grouped up and know that most of Ultra Prime are in front of them, it shouldn't be that annoying. But look at what Yuekai's doing.
Yuekai has another one. Oh, Hacker! Hacker's just dead. First blood to EDG.
Yeah, I believe it was the handshake coming out from Vampire, pulling him in at the end to guarantee the kill. Monki, of course, hitting level 2 helped a lot to guarantee them that. And I like that EDG didn't back down, knowing that they feel strong, having something like the Karma as well, with the low cooldown on the Q to keep trying to bully Ultra Prime out. And EDG already off to a good start.
And I hate to point it out, but I think it's, again, another situation of Ultra Prime that we've seen them consistently do. They just overextend, they get a little too hot, and they commit a little too hard. Maybe they just wanted that fisticuffs, but that leads to EDG's advantage, particularly now through this bot lane.
Exactly, right? Because not only were they able to steal the red buff, find a kill, but they've also now made it so Jwei and Doggo have to be careful. With Monki going for that invade and Hacker making his way up to top side.
Unfortunately, I don't think 0909 is going to have a very good time when he's in mid lane. Looks like that matchup against the Jwei is going to be a bit difficult, especially with, I think, the laning advantage that Yuekai had come back with.
Yeah.
And now has consistently.
I feel like in the first 2 games as well, we saw 0909 getting bested by Yuekai in the 1v1, which I guess shouldn't be too surprising, right? Again, 0909 coming back up from the LDL. Has played a series in LPL back in 2022, subbing in for Cream on OMG, but not really no experience. You know, no tier 1 experience to really lean on like Yuekai has.
And Yuekai has been one of the brightest spots of Ultra Prime for me. It's like when the earlier parts of the split when Ultra Prime actually had led with a lot of strong games. It was like, wow, I can't believe Yuekai was a sub last year. But I think we still see a lot of that. Maybe not the anti-game so much, but still see a lot of centered moments around Yuekai for Ultra Prime.
Yuekai has one X on his record, one black mark on his record in my mind, which is that had he not been starting on IG, that would have meant Mo would have been starting on IG.
That's a personal mark. That's not a general mark.
Why not?
If anybody is wondering why,
I
think everybody should know that Lyric has a fascination with Mole, the player. Not the animal,
Look, you go back to 2020, you even go back to 2019 when V5 weren't good, but it was hilarious with Mole and Wendy. And, you know, actually, that's my favorite V5 iteration is 2019 summer, but
Bring up
that doesn't
Wendy,
matter.
oh my God.
Because now the teams... Come on. Come on, teams. You can do it. You can
Nope.
fight.
Nope. You cast or cursed the action. Way to go.
I want to break the box of the Rammus memes that Ultra Prime we're talking about. Please, Ultra Prime social media person, break the glass. Bring us the Rammus memes.
I just love the Doggo covers it literally every single game. Objectives did come up. We have 5 minutes on the clock, obviously. The only thing is we've seen a consistent move to those objectives, particularly the Telegrubbies. But this time, it's not going to be that. It's going to be a mid-focus for Ultra Prime, trying to chase down 0909, who will make it out. Decade had popped his Dominus. They're going to try to move in here to stop the Dragon take from EDG.
I think it's EDG. You just have to back off, right? I mean, the Renekton has walked all the way down. The objective goes through, and it's funny because 0909 is getting absolutely bullied in this lane matchup. But on the same token, the Snake and Vampire had a pretty sizable CS lead. Until the recall just came through from the Snake, where you assume Doggo's going to at least get pretty close in terms of CS. So teams finding advantages in different places. EDG are actually the ones with a little bit of a gold lead.
Honestly, that was just a little shout out there. Decade actually played the timing on that so well. Literally didn't miss a single minion, was able to go down there. I guess in the previous wave, he definitely did. Very interesting to see Ultra Prime kind of pick apart the map a little bit.
Now, doing a nice job of making roams that we aren't seeing all too often now. Again, the Snake did go for a reset, so coming in with the Berserker Greaves to have a bit more attack speed under his belt, but you can see now starting to fear the pressure being put on by Ultra Prime. A lot's going to come down to Jwei actually being able to land these Tangle Barbs, though, and then get the follow-up trade with the Q.
There's so much damage that can come across if you land that CC from Jwei, and I think with the lack of range to combat that a little bit, it makes it very difficult for EDG. That's why we're seeing, you know, a catch up from Doggo in the CS department down there, and a little bit more presence as well. Playing with a lot of vision around there as well. Now, Hacker, not even going to contest it. All 3 grubs going to go over to EDG.
Is going to enable his bot lane to continue the level of aggression, though I like EDG. Oh, I thought EDG were going to scout out if he was going for the scuttle, but they actually might open themselves up to an easy gank.
Ooh, Tangle Barb does connect. He insta-burns the cleanse, then the flash. Vampire now going to take the brunt of Doggo's ire. Hacker was seen bot side, though, and they actually got 3 summoner spells from EDG.
Again, I thought EDG were going to be under the assumption of, hey, he's doing Scuttle Crab because we're doing grubs. We're going to go mess with them a little bit, back out safely, just be a bit of an annoyance. But no, not having that in their mind at all. And it's set up for the big flash from Jwei to come out and force all those summoners.
It was the 3-for-2 summoners trade. Jwei definitely trading those pretty heavily. Now, they actually get 2 plates off this in general in the bot side, which brings a lot of the, I guess, even keel nature of this game to a head, because we are at the most even that this series has been in this moment of a game so far, and we're about to change that potentially if Monki can find the entrance. There is no CC to layer it down. Oh, Ravenous Maw, Spiraling Despair. 0909, put your head in your hands. The shield comes through, and he saves the day.
He's just doing a great job in this 1v1. I love it too, following up with the QW to try to just keep being a hindrance to him as Hacker. He has absolutely no fear right now, even with how far his bot lane is from him, knowing that the Snake going for that reset.
It's a consistent thing we can say from Hacker in this series. He has had no fear in terms of where he walks, what he does. Decade versus Allah on the top side. Decade, the one to flash away from Allah. Getting better of him on the Cassante matchup. Maybe just took 3 games to do it.
Yeah, you know, just they just had to. He just had to get it back under his belt. You know, kind of remember the mechanics, get the muscle memory in order, I guess is the best way to put it.
Sure. I guess the muscle memory of Cassante. I do wonder, though, if we can actually see Decade put any advantage, because I think that has been a big case for the other games is the Renekton's have had a big influence in terms of target selection, things like that. With this very even top side of the map, does that change at all?
Oh, I think it does, because in the last 2 games, we saw Renektons coming out of lanes with CS leads or, you know, having gotten a few plays for themselves and always up in items. I think Ala will be able to be a lot more of a force this time around, staying even, and Decade shouldn't have as easy of a time finding access to the backline. But again, I feel like a lot's going to come down to how EDG actually end up playing out these fights. Doing a nice job of pulling this wave. We'll see if Decade sticks around.
Oh, he did stick around. Got Monki coming. Oh, Q3 missing. Got the smoke screen, though. No CC to follow it up.
And that just is the story so far for Monki, right? Go spot. Sadly, Vampire got hit by the Tango Barb, so he couldn't go for a handshake. Go top. Q3 misses, so not a whole lot of opportunities. And Ultra Prime, at this point in the game, seem completely fine with these, you know, isolated 1v1s and 2v2s in mid and bot, because they're getting plates off it. They're finding gold and getting advantages.
And now that we have another dragon spawning, Ultra Prime are already point and present. They will be able to get a second dragon, which is actually pretty big. Looks like Monki wants to come contest it, though.
Coming back, has a serrated Dirk now, so a bit more damage in his tool belt.
They're actually looking for the bot lane.
He's doing a nice job of just putting a lot of threat on EDG, pulling them down. It's going to give them the potential turn onto Drake right now. I like that 909 quickly went back to mid to push that out, because maybe it gives an opening to where you can collapse on Hacker.
They did start up the dragon, immediately pulling off it. Now one to get caught moving around that lip there. Monki, a little bit of speed at his back, trying to go bot side.
And now here we go, dragons up, EDG moving menacingly towards the Tri-Brush. But guess what? On the opposite side of the map, Grubs are up as well. But oh, there we go, Jwei moving forward.
Wait, hold on. I don't know if everybody just saw it, but we will see the engage here from Jwei. But when Jwei switched into the 4, he turned into the old icon of the ward, like the green lizard eye. That's
yeah.
Anyways, TP coming in. That actually means that EDG want to take a big fight. Collateral damage used instantly. Ala is in there. He all-outs the ulti, but it didn't matter. Oh my goodness, what a combo. It does mean EDG move in, take the dragon, split that one 1-to-1 for them, but Ultra Prime, they were looking like they could have died there, and they don't.
Yeah, they end up getting away. Still, though, you now have Decade alone in top. They did use that TP to get back up there. Maybe end up getting a plate off of it and, you know, having that in exchange for the dragon that just went down.
That's pretty big, though. Decade getting some sideline pressure here. At least in some way, shape, or form. Pretty sure Ala's going to be a little salty from ulting the clone, but
yeah.
We do have the Telegrubbies coming up here now. They are about to fall, though.
We're going to go back into the replay. I think EDG just feeling really confident being even in the fight. Really early collateral damage used by the Graves, and like you said, feels unfortunate being used on the clone. Yuekai, Jwei's ult, though, wouldn't have been able to fight it.
Wait, no, it wasn't used on the clone. It was the Fate's Call that pulled him back.
Oh.
Yeah, because I wanted to look, because the clone died as soon as he pushed Yuekai back. Or at least the other angle, Jwei. But yeah, it's actually the Fate's Call that saves his day. So Doggo, the Guardian Angel.
Ends up saving his support. Still, Jwei probably could have lived, because he still had flash right. Worst case, gets all outed into the pit, flashes over the wall. But does save him a summoner as Monki.
Oh my god, Yuekai does so much. Oh no!
Dead?
Oh, Monki, that's going to be a flash you want back 10 out of 10 times. They do get one back, though. And they get a kill. Vampire almost going down. Jwei's going to flash away, though. As he makes it back. 0909 definitely overextended. He's going to flash himself. Doggo's going to follow him right back, and he's going to pull that right out of his heart. Now Snake is going in. What is going on? Snake is putting him down. That Snake's got venom, and you ain't got nothing to deal with it.
This fight is not stopping, and we absolutely love that. I think the regret going to be coming out for Jwei. Ends up dying to, like, one auto. Could have been a massive play, though, had he been able to get that off. More action top side.
Yo, Ala is getting a huge series of combos here against Decade. Hits the Q3, doubts it for a second, and backs off.
Yeah, sadly not going to be able to find any more, but at least the recall coming out from Decade is going to give him some pressure to be able to get this next wave in. Might even, I was going to say, might even set up for EDG to go for the Herald, but Monki right now just safely farming away on his bot side.
And as Calm comes across, we do have a Rift Herald on the other side with a Dragon coming up in about 2 minutes time. So pressure in mid lane is important, but as we look at the state of the map, EDG have so much vision control around the bottom side. They will want to try to transition some of this towards that Rift Herald.
We also see that TheSnake somehow once again found the CS advantage that he had earlier before he lost it. Has the Blade of the Rune King first, and just a lot more items coming out for EDG, right? Malignance onto 0909, Ghostblade, Sunfire. I think they're feeling really confident right now if Ultra Prime would choose to challenge around Herald.
I think a big issue, though, is we've already seen Yuekai pumping out massive damage, and I feel like against a very squishy comp like EDG have, this way is actually going to go so insane. And I think as time goes on, we'll see that unfold, but EDG trying to take the moment, at least, and take Rift Herald.
I think it should still actually be hard for Yuekai to find a meaningful impact if EDG can play around their comp correctly. Like, it's going to be really hard for them to ever actually kill him or find threat on him, but that doesn't really matter, right? They should have more DPS if they're taking out Ultra Prime's, like, lesser frontline before Casante's going down. Sure, Yuekai will keep being annoying, but as long as they can win the fight, kill the other four, and turn that into a Baron, turn that into a Dragon, right? That's all that'll matter for EDG.
Gotta take momentum when they can. First items, pretty much for everybody now on EDG's side. Uh-oh, Ultra Prime, they're looking for a finicky play.
I like this. Again, when I like the play pattern from how EDG's comp goes into Ultra Prime, I think looking for some of these cheekier kills and some of these picks when you have a Nico support makes a lot of sense.
It's a good idea that they backed off because there were 4 people collapsing them, so good timings there, but we have about 15 seconds for the Dragon.
Prime getting saved by the fact that their allowance came in, because the reason they backed off is because Jwei had enough money to buy Rocket Belt. But that's good, right? Dragging it up in 4 seconds. Now Jwei gonna have more onus to hopefully find access onto the Snake.
They are just gonna start it up now. Got a decent amount of damage on it as well. Oh, that's a deep flank, and that is Decade coming in. He will have Dominus. Got to get Allah here too. He's going to TP, but they've already pulled the trigger. Pop Blossom out of 2. They found the Snake. Is he going to get bailed out? No. And now the spiraling despair has come for EDG as Ultra Prime caused them to completely go kaput. Dragon goes over 2, and that's 2 in a row. And Ultra Prime, they make the move.
Ultra Prime doing a great job finding the angle. I love the decisiveness of the play. I love when teams, like you can tell that Ultra Prime went into that knowing what they wanted to do because of how early Decade's TP was coming out. Just a lot of small things going right, which leads to them getting that next Dragon.
Pretty big. And an Infernal Soul as well, having 2 dragons up. Nicely done. Ultra Prime, they were decisive, and it showed. Mid lane turret, not gonna go down just yet. The minions gonna do the heavy lifting, and we'll get the turret taken. The first one of the game for Ultra Prime.
Seems like EDG were thinking about trying to find a kill on the Decade with Allah only getting tankier with that Sunfire. Hell, Allah even has a bit of a bounty, which is kind of funny. If he ever does end up going down. The Herald play coming on to mid for EDG.
Remember, no might, but they do have a decent amount of damage to follow it up. They're able to get the charge in, but nothing else, and so the turret still stands while EDG are looking topside.
I gotta be honest, I'm a bit surprised we haven't had a replay of the last fight. I've been in the mindset. Oh, God. I just lost the mindset. I just got out of it. I just got out. Now we're too far. Point is, look how much earlier Decade was able to come in. The Tangle Barbs connect from Nico, instantly goes in, and they don't even need to use Doggo's ult to throw him in, right?
We're going live, though, baby. We got a double Pop Blossom to boot, and Ultra Prime, they're just jumping as Doggo does, from kill to kill and from strength to strength. Monki will just fall to the minions, and Hacker gets the kill.
Ultra Prime, forget what I said earlier. We don't need to break the glass for any Rammus memes because, my God, they're starting to find these picks that they've been looking for. Almost a 3K gold lead already, and they're being very proactive, right? I mean, hell, the fact that we went right into that replay, come out already, 2 kills going across the board, seems that they have a good idea of what they're looking for.
And I hope we get a replay of that one, because when we came into it, there was already a ton of damage done on the Monki.
Oh, okay, I guess maybe a bit too much credit saying Ultra Prime are looking for proactive plays. EDG being the ones to start this off. But look at all the damage that came out from the play before he went down into another beautiful engage from Jwei, where he doesn't need to rely on his twist and he's just able to find the angle. Sure, EDG did already overcommit into enemy territory, which led to that. But, overall, nice stuff coming out from Ultra Prime. And hell, it seems like that Yuekai is going to become a lot more of a problem than I figured, just based on some of the mistakes that EDG are making.
Some of that squishiness coming to bite EDG a little bit in that regard, and Yuekai getting stronger and stronger. He already has the Seraphs completed there as well, just with the amount of spamming you can do with it. And that's going to be a pretty good adaptation to think of in terms of Ultra Prime playing around Yuekai. Also having consistency through Hacker, who I think now showing a little bit of that consistency on the Xin Zhao over what maybe is the double-edged sword of the Graves for Monki.
Wow. Actually, one of the most telling things about this game is AD carries and how who has more gold just keeps swapping back and forth, because the Snake's been able to find advantages. Then when he over-rotates, Doggo was bringing it back. Then the Snake found another CS lead. But now Doggo's actually up in items. After the kills, he's been able to pick up, finishing off that Ginsu. So Ultra Prime, who were probably going to start feeling a bit sheepish. EDG, who were feeling confident, like we saw from their earlier TPs and earlier team fights that they were looking for. Things have completely flipped, and it feels like Ultra Prime at a 2-item spike is a lot more threatening than EDG.
And I love that EDG were playing around with the draft a little bit. They definitely gave themselves a tough out with the Callista being let through. They thought maybe they could find answers, but if you give Callista to Doggo, I think it's going to be a difficult time if he's feeling confident and comfortable. And now with those kills, he's definitely going to be. I think this is a guy that, again, has had a bit of a rough track record since his time on BLG and his entrance into the LPL.
I agree, and that's one of the reasons why I said I feel like this time around, despite Ultra Prime's scoreline of 2-12, it felt like he looked more comfortable than he did, last time he was around. But now Ginsu's finished up for the Snake, so AD carry itemization is going to be on point. Last fight, it felt like Jwei was really the one to find the big angle, so he's the player I want to keep my eyes on. They haven't need to rely on Doggo's ult to throw him in. It's always been to save him once he's found the play himself.
We already started up the Dragon here. TP coming in from 0909. Dragon going very low. You got to try to get Monki here, but he's not even in the pit yet. He's trying to get there, but he can't. That's already the third Dragon. And Pop Blossom! Oh my God, again, Ultra Prime do the business. They do get one soloed out there, because Hacker got all outed by Ala. Now Ala with the ghost. He can look for an angle, but a nice fear from Yuekai. Decade looking a little bit worse for wear. The speed up from Yuekai. You see why this champion can be so lethal in a mechanically minded mid laner.
Helps him get away. 0909 was almost able to sit up for the pick to come through with the Mantra Q and getting that slowdown, but sadly it wasn't enough. I'm actually a bit surprised that Ultra Prime didn't win that fight harder, but they did get themselves on soul point with an Infernal Soul. So you can see here, Monki nowhere even close once the Dragon goes through. And Hacker wants to start it off, gets the knock up onto the Graves, and it leads to another huge ult coming out from the Nico. But it was actually the Renata. It was Vampire making it so that no one else on Ultra Prime can really follow up and actually capitalize off the big ult from Jwei.
And I think you see the strength of the double enchanter, the Karma plus Renata, right? It becomes so difficult to kill people in those fights when you have them both on top of each other. And that beautifully timed hostile takeover from Vampire during the Pop Blossom. Very, very good. But now they are still on the back foot. Even though it's only about 2,000 gold, you got to start thinking of what comes in the future, because you're going to have to fight for a soul, at least to deny Ultra Prime.
Now we see Haunting Guys getting picked up by Yuekai, so it seems like he's, starting to realize, hey, especially at a point, Alu's going to be someone who's going to be a big threat. Right now, Alu's only itemizing into armor, so not really caring about Yuekai, just the other major damage threats on Ultra Prime, but it could come back to bite him with how much work Yuekai's been putting in. 6 stacks on the Dark Steel already.
See, actually, a back trying to be completed by EDG here. I don't know if Ultra Prime's going to necessarily let them do that. They do get one off, and maybe Monki will make it out as well. Ultra Prime were just trying to flex themselves a little bit more out on the map, try to get some of this vision out. But it's really a waiting game here, and we hit those second items, those third items. We just got second item for Monki, but the next fight's going to have a lot more firepower behind it.
Probably still a little bit away from the next... I hope I jinxed that. Yeah, we're still a long time away from the next fight. As EDG trying to get vision control over top side for now. Baron's up, so it makes a lot of sense to start hovering around this. Right now, Ultra... Oh! That damage is huge.
It is, and that's the play. And now Monki, even with the redemption, even with the shielding, even with the double marksman comp, or double enchanter comp, and I guess double marksman comp, can't do it, can't stick in, and needs to back away a little bit. Can have a lot of, at least sustain through the jungle, though.
Still, though, this means that EDG is still going to be completely blind around that top side. Ultra Prime with Yuekai and Jwei were able to defend their vision, so EDG still going to be in the dark. Oh, Monki.
They are getting wrapped around on by Ultra Prime a little bit. Decade didn't pull the trigger down there. It was a little bit on his lonesome. But I love these two teams. They're literally just hold it out, trying to see if anybody oversteps and waiting for the next dragon.
Yeah, it's a bit rough, right? I think both Ultra Prime and EDG not too comfortable with putting their mid laners inside. I think for Karma, it's a little bit more fine, right? Having that shield to be able to run away easily. But it means we're just having a lot of hovering around mid, trying to keep vision control over river. But neither team feeling like they really have a reason to full commit to a fight with no easy objective up.
And I think, especially now that we are getting within that minute range of the dragon and trying to see a little bit of the movement towards that way, I expect Ultra Prime to try to catch somebody in transition here. It looks like they were already trying to move for that, but they will just use that mid priority to move down.
And I think a lot's going to be on EDG in this next fight. Ala playing, far enough forward to where there isn't much threat on the other guy's Vampire. I think playing a little bit more back. So even if an engage from Jwei comes down and does catch out someone like maybe Monki or one of the carries again, you're still always in a position to throw out that hostile takeover like we saw last fight. So I think positioning a lot more important to EDG to make sure that they can take these fights.
Ooh, Hacker puts himself out there a little bit. Jwei trying to look for an angle. Oh, the all-out coming through. That is going to be the Crescent Guard used. A lot of ultis used there. Redemption, huge heal to EDG, and they're going to be ready to go right back into the fight. Decent amount of damage being done by Yuekai. This is soul for Ultra Prime. They need to get this secure to get out. Pop Blossom on to 3, and Ultra Prime, they're looking for it. Monki is fighting back, though, and Ultra Prime, they get the Infernal Soul, but they might just lose their lives for it. Jwei is doing work, but they can't get much more. They just get the 1 kill back. They get the dragon, but EDG get kills.
Yeah, EDG, they take the fight, and it's because Ultra Prime were so split, right? Some people finishing dragon, some people looking for the engage like Jwei, but this is going to turn into a Baron. I don't think Yuekai and Doggo have any right with Decade to try and contest this, but it looks like they might. We know Jwei is
the health bars.
AoE.
The health bars, they're not so healthy.
Actually,
Decade's coming over
I think
here.
they could do this.
Yuekai, he's here. They do get the Baron, but can they kill some of the Baron buffs? Decade might have just sacrificed his life there. He does dodge out of the piercing arrow. Doggo's hopping forward. Yuekai's got some distance. Chains of Corruption gonna be flashed out of, but he couldn't get the distance on the other execution, and that is EDG making it out with a bunch of purple capes.
Still, though, I think for Ultra Prime it actually could have ended worse with Decade potentially going down with how dicey it got. Sadly for Ultra Prime, not able to find any kills of their own. We're going to go all the way back in the replay. It's like, okay, Ultra Prime wanting to go for the Dragon Jwei, but looking for the engage. I think wanting to make sure that Graves couldn't come in and Decade paired alongside him. But it meant that he just got taken down so easily by the hostile takeover. I'm pretty sure hostile takeover only ended up hitting him and one other member. So it wasn't even that crucial of one for EDG. But still, it just meant Jwei ended up being separated and EDG could take the fight.
They will take that fight every single time. Now you have to worry about the Infernal Soul, though, for Ultra Prime. They'll have a lot more poke to a squishy comp. They can navigate that, though. Ala is having a massive performance on the Cassante, I feel like. A lot of moments going his way. They are moving into the mid lane as Vampire could get spiraling despaired. Ian takes a brunt of damage, but they get a tier 2 turret.
Yeah, they're gonna keep going.
Oh my god.
EDG feeling so confident with the Baron, which is kind of surprising, considering the fact that they're contending with Infernal Soul.
Well, they use a lot of the poke. Again, the double enchanter comp here.
Oh,
not
that was
a karma
huge.
comp is so big. You can poke so heavily with 0909. That'll be another tier 2 turret secured with this Baron buff. They go over 3,000 gold with the Baron buff, and that is a huge lead game.
Yeah, they're going to be able to keep going. Yuekai not really going to be able to do much to sway this, and EDG might just get an inhibitor.
They overextend though. Monki is very low now. The sustain might not be there. Oh, Decade, you gotta get out of there. He's trying to heal, but he gets pulled back to the brink, and Ala takes him out. Now, you got a little move in the, you got 35 seconds on the Baron buff for EDG, but they will move away after getting the inhib.
It just takes him so long to deal any, like, real damage to Ala ever since he was able to pick up that, the Jack show. So... now he's going to start making his way into some more magic resist now that he knows Yuekai's being a problem, but EDG looks so comfortable. And the funny thing is, even with Infernal Soul going over, with 3 Infernal Dragons, it still feels like a very close game. That probably is going to be decided at Elder.
That's very true. And the fact that we're only 2 minutes away from that is actually insane, because it literally can be game winning. The problem is for Ultra Prime, they still have a lot of base breaking to do, and they won't necessarily have the Baron buff that EDG had to get the permanent base breaking. But that fight is going to be difficult for Ultra Prime to approach, because we see this composition, the double enchanters with the double marksmans, really coming online.
Looks like TheSnake even just wanting to go for more tankiness himself. It looks like he's making his way towards the Jack show, realizing, hey, as long as I can survive, I'm going to out DPS my counterpart. Which is kind of funny to think about when Doggo and TheSnake have been like going the same build up until this point. It's like they're both kids with Nintendo 64s who have all the same games, but sadly, Doggo has a little bit better of a TV, which is Infernal Soul.
I thought you were gonna go with like controller. Like, you know, the old like gold controllers for like N64, like the
yes.
ones. You had like the clear ones too.
I never had any of those cool ones. I was never that kid.
I didn't either. Yeah, I just had like the gray. I think I had one of the like purple ones, right? Like the original purple ones. But good times. Taking back. Anyways, we do have the split lane focus right now. They have Monki as the splitter because he is very good at taking the turrets and clearing waves as the Grave.
Oh, this karma damage keeps just
It's
absolutely
nuts.
slapping Yuekai.
And that speaks to 0909 developing in the series. The first karma game from him, it was rough. But it's definitely a scaling EDG in this series as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job at connecting those. Yuekai's been a little bit of a mantra Q magnet in the past few standoffs. And now, we've done it. We've sieged down turrets. EDG have built up a bit more gold. But this is where it's all going to come down to. This Elder. So both teams scrambling to finish off items. Morello finished up for Jwei. So, going to try and deny a bit of the sustain that's going to be coming through. But Crypt Bloom finished for 0909, which feels like a more important spike in my mind, especially if I've already been seeing the damage he's been doing in these face-offs so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be so ridiculously strong in this next fight. But Elder is up Yuekai and the rest of Ultra Prime are in position. Oh, whoa, they just go for it. Okay, collateral damage immediately utilized. Ultra Prime, they are trying to gain position into the Dragon Pit, but it's only Decade that makes it in there. He's going to have to be careful. He wants to try to get out of the back of the pit here. Ultra Prime moves through the bottom side, and we'll be able to contest from this angle.
EDG, I love they're threatening the push mid. They already have supers and bots, so they can just stall time and try and get the most value out of their minions as they can.
0909 stepping up with the Mantra Q. Yuekai takes a huge amount of damage. Now Allah is moving forward. Elder Dragon might be the focus for EDG, but it looks like the fight engaged. Spiraling Despair, Pop Blossom, everything going the way of Ultra Prime, but they have to stay alive because Allah is their Elder Dragon. Will do it. The flaps start coming, and EDG, they are panicking. They are running, but the fire hits them all the same.
Ultra Prime end up coming out huge with the fact that they get the dragon, but their base is still in tatters. So they actually don't get to turn this huge win into much, right? They salvage themselves. They're going to be able to start pushing forward, but it's going to be about how EDG can dodge the fight. Can EDG prevent themselves from getting engaged on while this Elder buff is up?
They have Elder and Infernal Soul. They have to be able to use this. We look back.
It was so rough for EDG to start off with. Allah goes in, tries to buy space, and then finish off the dragon. But look how low he gets taken so early on. And then you factor that in with Jwei finding this Pop Blossom onto 0909 and the other members. It's like, hey, Allah's already running away. EDG has to get out of there, and then they can just keep this chase going. And look at the bottom left-hand side of our screen. They are going to be able to convert it into a Baron. So now there's going to be a little bit of time where Ultra Prime have everything. They have the wave clear, they have the damage. They should just be able to do whatever they want.
The question was, how do you do enough damage to take down this very stalwart composition from EDG? They do not go down easily. One thing that helps that is a big ol' execute. And we see that now coming through for Ultra Prime. I do expect them to continue pushing the pace here if they can. They have the Baron up for another 2.5. The question is, though, once you lose the Elder, you go right back to a tough position.
Yeah, then it's actually, yeah, this game might still not be decided for another few minutes. You can even see, I think, the way that EDG are posturing. They know they need to be defensive. If they even need to give away a few structures, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, hell, they've already put Ultra Prime's base in tatters. If they can save their inhibs, I think that would be a huge win for EDG, but Ultra Prime are going for the push.
Jwei was looking for it. Now Ultra Prime onto an inhib in mid lane. They still have almost 2 minutes on the Baron buff. They will take down this inhib easily. They don't have any other waves really in a position except for bot lane getting that way. Looks like they will just take what they can get and back away.
So they just get the inhib. EDG giving up what they can, but ooh, actually looks like Ultra Prime not wanting to lose momentum, turning the bot. Crit Bloom just bought by Yuekai.
TP right back. They still have the buffs. They do not have the Elder any longer, though, it looks like. And they will try to get this in. They still have a minion wave on its way. EDG, they need to respond to mid lane, though.
Yeah, Decade so far is just being a hindrance. He needs to be careful, though. He doesn't have flash, so if an engage did come through, they could isolate him and then have a 5v4.
This is literally mirroring what EDG were able to do in Ultra Prime's base not that long ago. Both these teams giving us a banger of a series. As Yuekai is starting to do some work himself on that 4th item. This is the kind of series we expected between Ultra Prime and EDG. Chaos filled to the brim.
It like was and wasn't. I expected chaos and I expected 3 games, but I think the kind of chaos and especially how decisive or like one-sided those last 2 games were in either direction were some shocks. But I guess that makes the series better, right? Because we got some of what we expected, but there were still enough surprise twists to keep you invested.
This game's twisting gold graph is going to be very interesting. I mean, the lead has literally just gone back and forth in like 4 or 3K lead swings. And I would very much like to see what that looks like. We are starting to get to full items for multiple members. So I think it all comes down to execution from here, Lyric.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, when we're this far into the game, even things like we see now, right? Hacker showing on the side or Monki showing on the side, that can open you up to get engaged 5v4, and then suddenly a pick comes through. EDG were hoping to do that, but the spiraling despair of the snake prevented any action from being able to come through for EDG.
Red buff secured by EDG. They make it out alive. There's nothing else to fight for Ultra Prime. We still have a long while till those buffs are coming up. The next one that will be is the Elder Dragon. But Ultra Prime want to put pressure on the opposite side of it. We're going to go for a tier 2 tower up here.
Yep, Ultra Prime want to do that, and I also want Ultra Prime to do that because this is the time. This is where we start. No, okay, it's not the time. You know, Yuekai's decided we still need another few minutes. So, 1 minute from now, EDG, Ultra Prime, we're having the game-deciding fight. The better team wins, and then we all, you know, move forward because our next series is in Shenzhen. So, you know, we are, of course, going to be running on a bit of a delay. So this is where the fight needs to happen, Mazel. Make these teams do it. Ultra Prime, EDG, let's go.
Fight night is upon us. The battle for the wooden spoon, the ultimate battle, will be had and will be done in front of the Elder Dragon pit. Ultra Prime need to find a way not to get pressed in their face here by EDG. Yuekai will have to back away. He does not have TP. More mantra Qs coming down, and Dragon's already coming up. Ala wants to stop the backs, and he does successfully. Now Ultra Prime, they'll be down a member.
Let's see what EDG can do. It seems like they're doing their due diligence, wanting to push out mid first because it is a super minion wave, and they don't want to have to be distracted with that. But this might buy enough time for Yuekai to get here before anything meaningful can break out.
Elder is already going down very heftily. Ultra Prime, they need a big engage. They need a big moment. The Tangle Barb is not going to hit. The hostile takeover does. Chains of Corruption onto Toe. Totally, completely missing the pop blossom. Multiple flashes utilized. Ultra Prime, they're starting to lose a lot of the tools. Yuekai is all by himself in the back. Doggo's starting to kite. You got to watch out. The all-out coming through from Ala. Yuekai's trying to take down the Elder. Elder secured by EDG. They have the fight, and they'll take it to Ultra Prime. Everyone's gone but Yuekai, and the TPs to mid lane signal the end.
The formation for Ultra Prime just really wasn't there. One of your big carries in Yuekai not able to deal damage. So it opens up for EDG to win the fight, and now this should be the win for EDG.
Yuekai is going to be kicking himself. He had to be there, and he was not. His team didn't have time to not fight without him. And in a season that we've seen Yuekai have some of the brightest moments for Ultra Prime, they are also shadowed by incredibly disastrous ones. EDG, though, they rise from the bottom. They will claim victory, and 0909's first series here in this split will end up in a 2-1 victory.
Nice for EDG again. Both these teams were out of playoffs, so this just was for pride. This was just to make sure that you are showing the best you can bring towards the end of the season. Nice by EDG, who still have JDG left to play as their last series. And yeah, a bit sad for Ultra Prime because the moments were there. That game 1 stomp, I mean, it happened. Like, Ultra Prime showed that they could contend and they could win, but EDG pulled through in the end.
They do indeed. As EDG take a bow, it was not a clean series.